We are headed to the top of the countdown. We have arrived at number 1, and they were just 1 point away. They finished last season with 91 points. Florida finished with 92, went to the playoffs, went all the way to the Cup. When we look at the Sabres and what they have, there's plenty of talent and a lot to be excited about. I focus in on Yuri Kulich, huge playoff performance in the American League as a rookie. And boy, that Levi kid in the NHL, oh, did he dazzle us. Sam, take it away.
All right, so size with this group. You're talking about what's happening in the National Hockey League right now. You got Tuck there, good size. Tage Thompson, oh yeah, this guy's a monster. You got Dylan Cousins. He's a big guy at about 6'2", 6'3". So now we're going to look at a couple of smaller, more skilled defensemen, or forwards rather. And two guys that played in the same junior team with the Winnipeg Ice, they've since been relocated, are Zach Benson, who had 98 points last year in the Western Hockey League, and his teammate Matthew Savoie, who was the first-round pick 2 years ago for the Buffalo Sabres. Savoie was a really interesting guy. He was so good throughout his minor hockey career that he was strongly considered for exceptional status in the Western Hockey League. It didn't quite work out, but Winnipeg found a bit of a loophole to get him into enough games that it was essentially exceptional status. This is a guy who plays with such passion, such energy. He's so smart and detailed. Whereas Benson's a little bit more different. He likes to be into the fight. He likes to drag those into the fight with him. He's a guy who grew up with Connor Bedard, so he's got that creativity to his game. Two different players, two smaller size forwards, two guys who put up a lot of points. Savoie back-to-back 90-plus point seasons. And then we talked about Benson with his 98 points last year. Really impressive stuff from that group. It'll be interesting to see how they progress in the American Hockey League and then start to join the big guys that we just talked about that are already in their NHL lineup.
Big question for Buffalo next season is what's going to happen in goal. And I'll tell you one thing. If you doubt Devin Levi, do it at your own peril. Because all this kid has done his entire hockey career is prove people wrong who have doubted him. I go back to midget AAA in the Montreal area with the Lions, great. And Canada, great. NCAA, stud. Gets into 7 NHL games last season, wins 5 of them. He's not a big guy. But guess what happens when you're not a big guy and you're a goalie in the NHL? You better be darn good in a whole lot of areas, and he is. And goals saved above expected. This is where you should be looking when you want to evaluate a goaltender relative to what he's facing. Only 7 games last season, I know, but also the only Buffalo Sabres goalie with a positive goal saved above expected. And it's a heck of a jump for a goalie to go from college hockey to the NHL.
It's supposed to be.
Right? Yeah. Too big of a jump, most would think. Like I said, I am not going to count this kid out from being the guy who ends up playing maybe more games than any other goalie for Buffalo in the NHL next season, because all he's ever done is defied expectations.
Well, they don't really have that lifeline like Craig Anderson, the veteran guy who everybody liked, who can just be relied on to play a ton. They got UPL in there now. It's about time for him to start making that progression to be a National Hockey League goaltender on a consistent basis. You got Comrie there, who's battled injuries throughout his career, but a lot of experience and a super serious guy, and Levi. I love that goaltending competition for Buffalo.